okay, we can see people joining us, so good evening to you. Basically, let's start off, Marisa, with why did you look to write? I mean, I'd never heard of gamification. What is it about?
To be honest, I didn't know about gamification. I didn't know even in terms of things like crowd cultures or where we are with certain things. So I wrote a blog. I started researching for a blog because we do our weekly blogs, and I thought I'm actually quite interested in.
Put that on there.
Oh, thank you. That will help.
Probably help. Yeah.
I'm quite interested in what social media sites are out there for young people, for parents, for professionals, because technology are moving so fast and we're basically not keeping up. And as you're aware, we have this hashtag VOC, Voice of the Child campaign. And for me, I'm really, really interested at the moment in terms of what's working well, what's not working well, how can we integrate and get that participation going with young people in particular. So I stumbled across all sorts of things, gamification, crowd cultures and so forth. And apparently there's this guy called Felix, can't remember his surname, but he's a Swedish bloke, and he's actually been quite a huge phenomenon in terms of what he's been doing and so forth in relation to all sorts of things with gaming and crowd cultures and so forth. So yeah, that's actually where my interest started. I did not know anything about this.
So this game culture, gamification, crowd culture, I'm presuming this is all built around the little I know from my grown-up offspring, around the playing of games, the linking of young people together across the internet. I know they play games and compete in teams and individually. So I think that's where it's come from, isn't it? But is this an us thing? I mean, I know you're a lot younger than I am, but my guys are in their 20s. I think this is even younger. I mean, we're talking teens.
I think we're talking teenagers. I think we're talking young people playing games, interacting, communicating, having their own little almost orbits, I would say, if you want to, because that's the language that they use within those research that I read. Having a complete and utter new language, and also the way that they speak to each other through games.
So it's interesting, it's a bit worrying actually, because you and I passionately believe in pushing the rights of the child to have a voice. Okay, well that voice has got to be heard.
Absolutely.
But if you and I, and I'll be fair to you on this one, if we added our service in and around the public sector, you as a social worker, me as a cop, we'd probably be getting close to 50 years worth of working with children and families and the like together. You certainly haven't done 50 years, Marisa, but we haven't heard of it. Now, if we haven't heard of it, what hope have we got of hearing a voice of teenagers who are definitely, if you look at the stats, using these I don't know, orbits or areas to talk to each other. So how are we going to get into that?
I think we now need to pay quite a lot of attention to young people. I think we need to involve them. They need to enable us as professionals, I would say, empower us mostly as well, to get familiar with the stuff that they're doing. I think you and I know we're quite, I would say, fairly new. We're not too new, but we're fairly new in the last couple of years, or maybe 3 or 4 years, with Twitter and LinkedIn and Instagram, Snapchat and those type of things. But actually this is taken into a complete new level, and in order to take us to the level that where teenagers or children are actually engaging and participating with each other or communicating, I think we will need to now start paying attention, and the only way that we can do that is by talking to our young people and actually getting them involved. So this, for me tonight, and talking to you, I think this is an introduction into gamification. Again, I've done research. I intended to look at whether or not there's other things we need to know of as professionals, to talk to parents about, or to young people again. But this is completely new, so I stumbled across it. I wanted to introduce it to professionals out there. That was my main aim, and I know our colleague Andrew has a lot of information in relation to how this is actually working and can work. But again, we need to be able to talk to teenagers.
And we're going to put some information out over the next few weeks just to get people more aware of gamification and crowd culture and its impact. But one of the things certainly comes out of the research is you ignore this at your peril, whether you're a parent and you don't know that, what is my young person doing? Playing games at 3 o'clock in the morning. Well, actually, it isn't all bad.
Not necessarily. And I don't think we have to spy on our young people. And that was my last question in the blog as well. Does this mean that we need to spy on our young people? Can we not interact and participate and actually get to know what they're doing so that we're more familiar?
And that's the advice, isn't it?
Absolutely.
To get involved.
Yeah, to get involved. But I think also, if we as professionals, and I mean there's many sites out there like My Spy and teenager links that you can go on to. There's a online safety cop and etc. But I think if we really want to understand what's happening for children and young people out there, and if we really want to put in certain aspects to safeguard them and also protect them from predators online or whatever the case might be, we need to get behind this and we need to understand it fully, because we won't be able to safeguard unless we know and have the knowledge to do so. So the same with parents as well. They also need to know what's going on, and as professionals we can guide them in that direction and make sure that they know.
Absolutely. It's interesting, when I was reading your blog, the name tag, if you like, of Generation Z came up. And I've heard of Generation Z. I've got to say I couldn't have defined it too well, but we are talking a whole generation of young people who early teens, mid-teens. This isn't 20-year-olds, is it? This is a really new group of young people. Let's be honest. It's their future. Yeah. And if they're communicating like this now, what is the future?
Absolutely.
I just was quite taken with the fact that it's almost hidden, and we've got to stop it being hidden.
Yeah, we need to stop it being hidden. I think we need to take note in lessons from other places like the US. Mm-hmm. The US is a tiny step further ahead in terms of gamification and crowd cultures and those type of things.
Are they? Right.
We know from research that we've seen recently, and which is in my blog basically, that there are some good outcomes that have been seen in terms of how professionals get on top of gamification or crowd cultures or social media, even in what young people are doing. So I think there are lessons there, and we need to incorporate that, and we can only do that and bridge the gap again if we know what we're talking about, and then fully engage with the young people. So what I would like to do in the next couple of months as part of the #BSC campaign is maybe invite young people in to come and talk to us about it and actually teach us as professionals how we can actually take this forward.
That is a really big point, because there's two issues for me, and I can see there's people watching this. Obviously, I don't know where you are at the moment, guys, but thank you for watching tonight, and I hope you find it at least interesting. Maybe you didn't know, like I didn't know, about gamification, but there we go. If there's young people out there who are looking at us two now going, what are you on about? You must know about this. No, we didn't, but you clearly do. Then, get on Twitter, send us some information about it, because we're genuinely interested in this. And the big thing for me is, if that's a new platform for conversation, then professionals, the professions that you and I work in and around, we need to listen to this, but we need to listen to, because we can use it to shape services. And
Absolutely.
That's what the voice of the child, a lot of it is about, is if we listen to the voice of children, young people, the 0 to 25 category that you describe, then the services that young people want will be shaped by the voice that comes across. And if we can get that through gamification, or we can get it from Twitter or wherever, then that's got to be a right thing. So there's a plea coming out through Periscope tonight. If you are Generation Z, ladies and gents, then get in touch on Twitter. Is that a question coming in, Marisa?
It's Quentin. Hello, Quentin. You're joining us from Jamaica. Hello. We are missing you loads.
Yeah, you're supposed to be here, Quentin, doing this. We're talking about Generation Z.
Absolutely. Quentin, we have just said that, especially, one of the hashtags that we've used in terms of gangs and radicalization, and also how it actually links with gamification and crowd cultures and those type of things. I think we need to know, from young people in particular, we need to change our language as professionals. We need to make sure that we understand what they are telling us through all these games and stuff that they are playing. And actually, through integration and participation, and I'm going back to the UN Convention of the Child and the rights for the child, I think we absolutely need to nail it now, because we can't move forward in a world of technology without that.
No, and it's a wake-up call for us, because I look to you and to Gwenton and to others in Shared Vision to say what platforms are we using, and you would be the most honest person tonight to say you hadn't seen this one.
No.
So that's fantastic, really, that we're there. Gwenton, I suppose it's a shame we're not on Blab tonight. That's me being cool. I know about Blab as well, because I'm sure you're dying to get in with how gamification and crowd culture is being used in and around gang culture and serious youth violence. Maybe we do that another night when you do get home to us, and I can have a night off, Gwenton. But thanks for joining us. Thanks to everyone, really. I think we just want to leave some messages. We don't want to go on and on and on, because people will get bored. But my messages are, if you're watching this and you know more about it than we do, that's probably quite true, you will.
I think so.
Then give us some feedback. We can take it, how we could use it, how we can get involved with gamification, crowd culture, to make services for children and young people better, because we all know they've got to be shaped by the people that use them, and that's not always the case. How do we interact with gamification? How do we get involved in crowd culture for the better good of young people and not to spy on them? And we need to think about all the different generations, because if we've got generations within the 0 to 25s who are on totally different platforms, then we need to connect that thinking, don't we?
Absolutely.
What would you be... what's your lessons away from this blog you spent hours researching and writing?
I think it's opened a whole new world for me in particular, because again, I go back to, I know Twitter, I know Blab, sort of, because Gwenton introduced it to us. I know, and I learn every single day in terms of social media, but I think my lesson was, actually, we're trying to understand and make decisions for young people, but we're not involving them in the right way.
Not enough.
So, not enough, absolutely. So if you are a young person or a child, over 10, for example, which research also shows in terms of games, if you're watching this, please do send us messages and get involved, because we want to know. I'm very interested. And I like the visual and interactive side. And I think that's what interests me in terms of gamification, because it's really interactive and shapes the future, hopefully.
Well, I'm going to say thank you, because I would never have known about it if you hadn't gone off on one and researched it, and we're now going to add it to the list of things we've got to do. Right, so if just before you all go, we always say this stuff at the end, because we know young people watch these periscopes from us and from the team. We've done a lot on gangs and serious youth violence. We've done a lot on mental health and autism. That is a question there, Marisa. Can you read that?
Yeah. Gwenton is asking, when we say children, we mean 11 to 25-year-olds? Well, I think children in the widest context, Gwenton, for me it's about, I always say the hashtag VOC, or Voice of the Child campaign, is 0 to 25. Because for me it incorporates even the unborn child, but also across the board. Young adults or youngsters even over 16 in the UK in particular, for me is quite vulnerable, or some are quite vulnerable, and we need to help them and enable them and empower them actually to have a better future. So for me, children in the widest concept, or young people, yes, absolutely 0 to 25.
And that 0 to 25, if you're wondering, we use, well, professionals use it as well, but it really does cater for a group of young people, maybe who've been in care, who've been living in different situations, and the statutory arrangements that they're needed to protect them go way past 16 and way past 18. So we are trying to push the 0 to 25 agenda, and the children bit isn't meant to be derogatory, it's just the kind of legislative term. So talking young people, young adults, etc.
But I go back to, let's change the language, let's make sure that we actually understand what we're talking about when we talk to our young people, and let's involve them. That's the main message from me
and
for
let's
tonight.
Be honest, if we don't know something, you and I and others,
let's find out.
We'll ask them out there if they can help us, which I know you will, which is fantastic. I want to finish off tonight, because we've probably been on air long enough. Just with the normal stuff I was about to say, if you're a young person, child or otherwise out there, and you're sitting there looking for help, it doesn't matter what it is, whether you can't access a service, if you're feeling a bit down or a bit bad about yourself, or you know a friend who is, if nothing else, there is a place to go. Please don't sit out there. Go with a friend or an adult. Start at your doctor. Start at your GP. If you don't want to do that, find a way, if nothing else, of sending someone a message, because there will always be a service out there. And I know I've said this over and over again with Gwenton about if you're in a gang or the periphery of a gang, there is a service for you.
Absolutely.
So please don't turn this off and go, well, I don't know where to turn. Find somewhere, be strong, and if nothing else, send us a Twitter message and we'll try and help you out.
Absolutely.
Go on, Marisa.
No, I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all the hearts that's been coming our way on Periscope. I see there's a few more coming.
That's for you, by the way. They're on your side.
No, I think it's for us.
Definitely not for me. Before we go,
and also thank you for the comments.
Yeah, the comments are brilliant and the questions, and one of us really ought to put some glasses on, be able to read them. It's all right asking for questions. Let's go through where they can contact us now, because they can do it on Twitter. Let's get this right. At Shared Vision, all one word, UK. Shared Vision UK. So it's at Shared Vision UK. We'll answer it. We get tons of tweets coming in. Facebook page.
Yeah, it's again NIB Shared Vision. So it's NIB Shared Vision.
Yeah.
We have a Blab conversation page that we've just recently started. Again, that's Shared Vision UK.
Yeah.
We have Instagram. If you have nice photos that you want to post, for example, or bring our attention to, that's also on Shared Vision UK. And then
use the portal. Use
the
website.
We have a website.
Yeah, and you can email us. Do what you like, really, on the website. There's some good stuff. Get hold of us. nibsharedvision.uk. So it's www.nibsharedvision, all one word, .uk. There's no .co because it's not a co, it's a organisation.
Absolutely.
So that's got to be enough. Hundreds of hearts for you.
Excellent.
Thanks very much, Gwenton. Come home, please.
Yes, please.
And to the rest of you, fabulous. Thanks for giving us your time. Hope you enjoyed it. And we'll be back next Wednesday or Thursday. Not sure when I can drag Gwenton into a room to talk about something. Thanks, Marisa.
Thank you.
And thanks for doing the blog. It's brilliant. Read the blog.
Yeah, read the blog.
It's on the blog page of the website.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Good night. Bye.
What's that say, Marisa, before we go?
Any young people want to send empowering videos, send to the site. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I don't know who that was from.
Sorry, it disappeared. But if you have anything that can help us and anything that you want to draw our attention to, just send it to our site and we'll have a look and we'll stick it up.
Yeah, and we'll always be very, very careful before anyone writes in like they did last time. You know, both of us have worked in child protection. Both of us passionately believe in safeguarding. We will always be very careful what we put on the internet. We do understand.
Yes.
We may be a bit flippant, but we've both been there a long time in terms of safeguarding children, and that's our paramount. So, thanks very much, everyone. Thanks, Marisa.
Thank you.
We're off now.
Good night.
Bye now.
Bye.